Hey guys, thanks for stopping by this episode. Today we're going to be talking about how to start and commit to a journaling practice. If you've been following me in the soulbeautychat for a while, you know that journaling is a huge part of the work that I do with my meditation offerings and my group workshops, but also personally. Journaling is something that I have done since I was about 8 or 9. I remember starting my first journal. Absolutely love journaling, always have. I think I have an episode where I went into detail about my journaling practice. Yeah, I think I have, I know I have multiple episodes where I talk about journaling in depth, so you can check those out on my YouTube channel or on my podcast. But I wanted to just share how you can create a practice. I know I've talked about prayer journaling before. I've talked about a lot of different things around journaling, but I don't know if we've ever touched on this topic. So I'm going to share 5 things that you can do to start and commit to your own personal journaling practice. Number 1 is to set an intention when you start your practice. So when you decide, okay, I'm going to start this journaling practice, what is your intention? What's the purpose of doing it? And how do you want to transform by committing to this practice? Maybe your intention is to build consistency. Maybe it's just a matter of I'm not consistent with anything, or I struggle with consistency and I want to practice being consistent for the next 30 days, right? That's a place to start. Another place to start, for example, could be you want to deepen your relationship with God or with yourself. Maybe you want to become more vulnerable with yourself, get a deeper understanding of your emotions, or maybe you want to start your healing journey. Whatever it is, I think it's just very important to have a clear intention of what your purpose is, because that's going to help you when it comes to sticking to it, which is the second tip that we're going to go into, which is set a time and commit to it. Like any other practice or any other new venture or idea that you are following through on, you have to set a time and commit to it. Let's use fitness, for example. If you decide that you want to start a fitness journey, you usually will set a time to meal prep, you'll set a time to exercise, you'll set a time to stretch maybe, you'll set a time to track what you're eating if that's something you're into, but you have to create some type of structure for yourself if you want to commit to it. So consider, I want to start this practice. When will I actually be able to journal? Is it something you want to do first thing in the morning as a part of your morning routine? Or maybe it's something that you want to do in the evening. I think this really depends on what your intention is. That can help you kind of form when and how often you want to practice this journaling exercise. The third tip that I'll share is using prompts or wow. What was that? Okay, let's try that again. The third thing that I want to share is using prompts or scriptures. There we go. If you don't know where to start. So a few examples that I have created, different resources that I have, is the 30-day faith challenge, which is available in the soulbeautychat Facebook community. That community is just for women, but if you are a guy listening and you're like, I want to get in on this faith challenge too, you definitely can. I have posted the actual scriptures on my Instagram. You can check out the faith highlights on my Instagram, or you can check out my Pinterest. I also have it listed there. So I will just link that below. I'll link the actual pin to the challenge where you can see all the scriptures. So if you're a person that doesn't have Facebook, or if you're a guy and you're like, well, this community is for women, you can still participate. I'll share the scriptures in the description below via Pinterest, and you can also check out my Instagram highlights to find those scriptures as well. But that's a great way to kind of kick off your journaling exercise. The 30-day faith challenge was basically using the SOAP Bible study method to unpack different scriptures, to go deep into it, kind of doing your own Bible study essentially, but it just gives you a guideline to follow. So that's a great place to start if your goal is to build your relationship with God. Let's say your goal is to build your relationship with yourself. I have self-love worksheets available on my website that focus on different topics. A lot of them are related to love and relationships because when I created them, that's the space that I was in. So there's a self-love worksheet that is created for before you you start dating. There's one that's for cultivating feminine energy. There's one for embracing being single. And there's another one for developing healthy relationship goals. So those worksheets include journaling prompts and affirmations to really guide you. So if you're like, I really don't know where to start on this whole journaling practice, but I know that I want to get started, and if those topics resonate with you, that may be a good place to start as well. So the links for that is also in my description, but of course you can find all this information on my website, soulbeautychat.com. Another thing that I would share that is not a resource that I've created, but it's something that I do on a daily basis. And it's a really simple question that I ask myself every single day when I'm starting my journaling and I don't have, let's say I have a day where, I don't have anything top of mind that I want to talk about, right? I just know that I'm doing this practice. I want to commit to it. So I'll start with the question, how am I feeling today? And it sounds really simple, but that one question usually spirals into other deeper things that may be buried underneath the surface that I'm not tapping into. So let's say, for example, I start with, I'm feeling a little tired today. I didn't really sleep the best. I had a stomach ache, and I just feel really tense and anxious. And then from there, you can start to explore, well, why do you feel that way, right? So first you start with how do you feel, then you dig into why do you feel this way? I didn't sleep because XYZ. I feel anxious because of this. And then you start to slowly unravel what is bothering you and what's on your mind. I like to think of it as those journaling prompts. Like imagine a ball of yarn, right? That's just like all tangled and matted and mixed with all these different colors and different textures of fabric and string and yarn. And you start by just grabbing, when you want to untangle it, you start by just grabbing one piece, right? And you just try and work that one piece out. That's essentially. Before we dive any further into this episode, I want to quickly tell you about an app that I've been using for the last couple of years to assist with my mental health journey called Faith Counseling. Faith Counseling is a solution for people seeking traditional mental health counseling who would prefer hearing from the perspective of a Christian. If you're seeking a mental health professional who is a practicing Christian, Faith Counseling may be a great option for you. The best part is that you can start communicating in under 24 hours. Just a few things to note about Faith Counseling. This is not a crisis line and it's not self-help. This is professional counseling done securely online with real therapists. There's a broad range of expertise in the counseling network, which may not be locally available in some areas. So keep in mind when you're booking your sessions. The service also is available to clients worldwide, and one of the great benefits is that you can log into your account at any time and send a message directly to your counselor in real time. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly or phone sessions so you won't ever have to worry about sitting in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. Faith Counseling is also committed to facilitating great matches, so they make it easy and free to change your counselors if needed. To be honest, while the times that I've been using this app, I have changed my counselors multiple times and I don't feel guilty about it because it's super easy to do. And also you kind of have to view it like dating. You may not get it right on the first try, and some people you just may not match with. But the fact that you can easily, literally in less than a day, and change your counselor for free is a great option that Faith Counseling offers. Another thing that you should consider about Faith Counseling is that it is way more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available to those in need. Faith Counseling wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit their website and read some of their testimonials, or check out my other episodes where I go into depth about what it's like to work with a therapist to learn more about my experience. And visit Faith Counseling to join over 500,000 people who are taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. For a special offer and to get 10% off your first order with Faith Counseling or your first month with Faith Counseling, use my link getfaithful.com/soulbeauty. Again, to get 10% on your first month of services with Faith Counseling, click the link in the description or type into your browser getfaithful.com/soulbeauty. soulbeauty. getfaithful.com/soulbeauty. Thank you, Faith Counseling, for the opportunity to collaborate on this amazing service. And check it out if this is something that is resonating with you. Okay, back to the episode. What you're doing with these journaling prompts. That first question is that one piece of yarn that you're starting with. So asking yourself how you're feeling and then digging into that. So slowly pulling that piece of yarn out, slowly untangling it and unlooping it and unraveling it. Then once you get that piece untangled, you can start with another piece, which is, well, why do I feel that way? So that's just if you're a visual person, that's a way that I would present to you to think about journaling prompts as a way to just unravel what could be, buried deep inside your mind that you can't tap into on a surface level. Okay, the fourth tip that I would share is to get a journal that excites you. So this is the fun part, right? This is where you get to, I was about to say go to Marshall's because you guys know I love a good Marshall's run. However, Marshall's is not open yet. So you get to go to maybe Amazon.com or whatever your favorite stationery site is. And also, I don't know of any great online stationery sites. I'm lying. I do. There's a Black-owned one called Aya Paper, AYA paper.com, Black-owned. Someone I used to work with named Savan started this company. She's a Black woman, so that's a great place you can go. There's also another one called Aries Moon Paper. I might be saying that wrong, so I'm going to link it below, but I was about to lie and say I don't know of any. I know of 2 Black-owned stationery companies, so I will link those. I've never purchased from them, but I have journals and a bag and a bunch of stuff from the first company that I mentioned. The other one, she's a huge supporter of podcasts and of my content on Instagram, so shout out to you if you're listening, but make sure you guys check them out and support their businesses if you're looking for a new journal. But yeah, get a journal that excites you. Get something that's pretty. Get something that you want to pick up every day. Get like some cute colored pens. Do whatever to really, feel excited about your journaling practice. I love journals. I had so many. I shared my horror story once of what happened to my journals, but we're not gonna talk about that. But I still have quite a few, and I love them. I love my journals. I love just the way they look, the papers, the textures, how some of them have like gold edges, and I love a good gold accent. So yeah, I would just say get a journal that really speaks to you and your aesthetic and just makes you happy, something that you just feel like, yes, this makes me happy. I'm going to sit down with my cup of tea or my cup of matcha and we're going to unpack these emotions. It kind of makes a process that can be very intimidating a little more fun, when you go into it with something that feels enjoyable and exciting. So that's a tip that I wanted to share. The fifth tip that I want to share is to practice vulnerability in real life and use this as a way to build intimacy with yourself. Journaling is a very intimate practice. My intention with my journaling practice is to really get comfortable with being more vulnerable with myself, with God, and with others. And journaling helps me do that because vulnerability really comes from a place of understanding how you feel. It's not as easy to be vulnerable when you are struggling to express what it is that you're feeling. But if you have a deeper understanding of what you're feeling, if you've taken time to acknowledge and unpack those emotions, it's a lot easier to then open up when someone is trying to support you, or if you're, seeking support from a friend or a family member or a therapist. But if you don't have that level of emotional vulnerability with yourself, it's really difficult to open up to other people. And then taking it a step further with relationships, that's a huge part, especially for me, I would say, of what makes a relationship so special is having that vulnerability with your partner. So So for me, I noticed that when I'm consistent in my journaling practice and I'm consistently showing up for myself in that way, it's so much easier for me to connect with people, whether it's romantically or friendships or, like I said, my therapist. It's just easier for me to express myself, to connect with people, and also to just have compassion for myself and for others and what their experience is, because I'm practicing having compassion for myself every single day. You know, when I go into my practice, if certain things come up that I feel ashamed of, or things come up that I don't understand, or I'm struggling to really process, I have the opportunity to judge myself or to show compassion. And I don't always show compassion, but it is my intention and my goal to get to a point where I can always show compassion for myself first rather than judging myself. And that practice of daily compassion, self-compassion for yourself, can then extend onto other people. So when you have a situation, maybe you're driving and someone cuts you off, or maybe you're in the grocery store and someone, cuts in line, or whatever situations, no matter how big or small, that we face in day-to-day life, having that practice of self-compassion with ourselves on a regular basis kind of reminds us in those moments when we're triggered or when things happen to just breathe and to just take a moment and just say, well, let me just consider for a second why this person could have done what they did. Not necessarily making excuses, but just giving yourself the opportunity to choose to look at the situation from a different perspective and to choose to extend compassion rather than judging and criticizing and possibly escalating the situation. So those are the tips that I wanted to share about how to start and commit to a journaling practice. I really hope that it helps you on your journey of self-love, self-care, mental health, and just personal growth and healing. And if it did, make sure you leave a review on iTunes so that this show can be spread with more and more people who need it. And also share it with a friend. If you know someone that's starting their journaling practice, just extend this to them as a gift, as my offering, my gift to you, your gift to them, as a way to build with themselves first and foremost, so that we can start to build with others. So I pray that this was helpful. I hope you're doing well, sending you nothing but love and joy and peace and abundance your way. And I'm looking forward to talking to you in the next episode.